SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back. Last class we discussed about very important posture evaluation tool, that was RULA, Rapid Upper Limb Assessment. Now in the next version or next advancement of that particular tool, that take us to a new different tool that was developed in 2001 by similar group of researchers or same group of researchers named as Rapid Entire Body Assessment or REBA. In short form we call it as REBA. So let us go and understand the detail of it. Before we go to REBA, I would like to mention that here it is developed in 2000. It's the group of these people, the similar group, that McAtamney, who developed our tool, that is RULA. Now this tool was developed by Hignett and McAtamney. Okay. To assess the unpredictable working posture found in healthcare and other service industries. Now this tool, when they developed, they mainly did the studies in the sector of healthcare. If you look at RULA, you have understood that that RULA tool is mainly used where you are sitting and doing the job. Now always if you look at the other industry, like due to industrial revolution, most of the industry adopted such posture. However, in healthcare industry, where patient handling is a major chunk of work, there you cannot really go for only sitting job. There are a lot of whole body activities. So from that perspective they started understanding how we can understand those details and how we can evaluate it. So they developed REBA. To evaluate whole body postural MSD and risk associated with job task. Assign score for each body region. So what they will do similar as in RULA: wrist, forearm, elbow, shoulder, neck, trunk, back, legs and knee. They will be assigning score and they will take it forward. It's a rating of posture, force and movement required while performing that particular task. So first they will talk about the posture of the these body parts, neck, trunk, limbs and all, and then they will go for the force and the movement as we did in RULA. So what are the applications of RULA? So musculoskeletal risk can be measured. Of course, we are this particular posture assessment tool, either it is WASH or RULA or REBA or QEC, ultimately it gives an understanding what is the kind of risk available for the development of musculoskeletal disorder. So musculoskeletal risk can be measured as a part of broader ergonomics intervention. So musculoskeletal load on the present and modified workstation design can also be compared. So if you have two varieties or three varieties of workstation where similar work can be done, and you can test the what is the kind of musculoskeletal load is arising due to the adaptation of the posture. Okay, so that you can really compare, and which is the best one you can choose and you can go ahead with the further modification. So outcomes like productivity or suitability of the equipment can also be evaluated using this particular tool REBA. Workers can be educated about the musculoskeletal risk created by different working posture. This is very important point. It is also applicable for ruler and wash, that once you understand that yes, this particular posture is not correct, then you can really discuss why this posture is not correct or is not comfortable for them, or it is, if they are adopting this particular posture for longer hours, what is going to happen. So as it is lot of depicted pictures are there, explaining the position of your body parts, it is always helpful for someone to explain to the workers or the adapters or like the operators, and then you can take it further, like you can train them, you can explain them why this is not good, why this is good. Okay, so this particular point is very important. You can really explain which part of the body of the operator is causing more danger or more risk for them. Okay, so you have individual body scoring, body part scoring, so it always helps that how this is going to create difficulties in long run. Okay, so this is very important application. Procedure is very similar as we did in ruler. So observing and selecting the posture to assess. Do you remember that how do we select posture? Yes, we select posture. Those postures are frequently occurring in a work cycle or in a job cycle. So frequently occurring posture, or the posture which is being held by the operator for longer hours or more than 50% of their working cycle. Okay, so if that way you select posture. Of course, for a longer run, someone cannot hold a posture for 8 hours, same posture, right? So they are adapting different posture in the working condition. So you can select. Of course, this selection is definitely connected to the objective of your research. So whatever objectives you have set before starting this particular posture analysis, based on that and the assumption of frequently occupied posture or posture which is being held by the operator for longer hours, based on all this you select the posture. Once you select the posture, then what do? You give the scoring to the body parts as we did in ruler. Once we do the scoring, we have similar pre-computed table, and from those pre-computed table, what we do? We try to get the final reading, final score of REBA. And from the final score, of course, the action level. Okay. So a total 13 steps are involved as we did in ruler as well, and what it does, it can be divided into two major sections, section A and section B. Here the section A deals with neck, trunk and leg. In ruler, in section A, we did with the upper arm, lower arm, wrist and wrist twist, whereas in the in REBA, in the section B, we deals with the arm and wrist. So this is little different, and three pre-computed tables are there. From that we will get the scoring. So for section A, we have trunk. So locate the neck posture, locate the trunk posture, leg, look up the posture score in table A, add the force and load score, score A which is found in table C. In next, arm and wrist analysis, so upper arm, lower arm, wrist position and lock up the posture score in the B, like table B, add the coupling score. Then here it is little different. Here we are talking about coupling, how you are holding the things. So that coupling is involved. Then you get the score B and then you go for the activity score. So let us start with this particular example or this particular understanding how do we get the neck score. Okay. So for neck, if neck is not straight, okay, so here the assumption is when you are working, of course neck is in a forward bending condition. Okay, we looking at straight, you really cannot do any job. It's very difficult in industrial situation. So here the modification is, if it is 10 to 20 degree forward bending, then it is +1. If it is more than 20 degree, then it is +2, or anything in the extension direction, that is +2. Similar kind of adjustment, if your neck is twisted, okay, moved in these two sides, that is twisting, so you have +1, and neck is bending these two sides like this, then it is bending. So twisting is this, again I am repeating because we get confused while doing the exercise, while collecting the data. So this is twisting and this is bending. Okay. So once we get these scores, finally we get the value of neck score. So this is again a picture which is adapted from one of the internet source, and from here we can understand what is the neck score. So if you look at the neck bending, it is around 10 to 20 degrees. So the score value is 1. It is not twisted, it is not bended. The person is looking straight, like that. This eye vision is very straight, so it is not this side or this side. Okay, so it is 1. So neck score for this particular posture which is being described in this figure is 1. Now going for like trunk. Okay, so trunk we have a few more modification. One is if you are standing straight, so 0 movement, okay, then it is +1. If anything is extension, then +2, or forward bending 0 to 20 degree, that is +2. 20 to 60 degree forward bending +3, more than 60 degree +4. Okay. Once we have these values, then again the similar kind of adjustment for twisting and bending. Twisting means whole body is moving either on left side or right side, that is twisting. So +1, or side bending. So from the lumbar region, if you are bending on this side or this side, then it is +1. So in this particular figure, there is no such bending. So approximately we can see that it is forward bending is 20 to 60 degree, that is why it is +3. Now leg. What leg says? Leg says if evenly the foot is placed on the floor, then it is +1. If it is one is placed, one is not placed, +2. If knee is bended 30 to 60 degree, then one more +1, and if more than 60 degree it is bended, then it is +2. So here you get little more detailing about the leg. First you need to see if feet is, the basic scoring is if feet is placed evenly on the floor or not. If it is placed, then it is plus 1. If one is placed, another is not placed, then it is plus 2. After that, you have to see that knee is bended or not. If knee is in a bent condition, then you have to see at what angle. So, if it is 30 to 60 degree, then add 1 plus 1, and if more than 60 degree, then it is plus 2. So, here in this from this figure you can see one knee is in bent condition, right. So, first is 1 and then leg score it becomes 2. So, what we are getting over here? Here we are assuming this, okay. Now, here one thing, that from which angle, like which side, are you considering the right side or left side? If you are here, you can do from both sides. First you do from right side or operating side, so dominant hand side, another you can do from the other side. So, for this example we have taken the score value of 1 as leg, trunk as 3 and neck as 1. Okay. So, you already know how do we read these type of tables. So, here first you go for neck, that is 1. So, your score remains in this particular region. Then you go for trunk, so that was 3. So, this particular section, and then your leg is 1. So, this particular section, so that means your score became 2. Fine. So, your score became 2. Now, what you have to do? You have to add load and force score and you have to check what is the final value. So, it says, you look at here. So, if it is load is less than 11 pound, then no score adding, like plus 0. If it is 11 to 22, plus 1, more than 22, then 22 pound, you can convert it into kg as well, okay, as per your requirement, then it is 2. So, adjustment is if shock or rapid build up score, sudden jerk is there, then also you can add plus 1. So, that way you can adjust the score and then you can go for the next requirement or next part of the analysis. What is the next part of the analysis? Next part of the analysis is your arm and wrist. Okay, let's go ahead with the next table. What it says? Similar kind of scoring system. So, upper arm 0 to 20 degree forward or 0 to 20 degree backward, it is plus 1. If more than 20 degree in the backward direction or in extension, then plus 2, 20 to 45 degree plus 2. So, here it is similar. Okay. Now, 45 to 90 degree plus 3 and more than 90 degree it is plus 4. Similar kind of adjustment. What it says that if the shoulder is raised, then you add one more value, that is plus 1. If your upper arm is abducted, again I am explaining what is abduction. Abduction is your arm is away from your body. So, if you are doing some job little far from your body, then what will happen? To hold that particular posture, you will have more strain on your trunk, shoulder muscles and arm muscles, right. So, you have to give one more additional score, that is plus 1. Whereas, if your arm is getting on rest on the armrest, then you subtract 1, or person is leaning, okay, then also it is minus 1. Okay. So, it is minus 1. If your arm is supported, then it is minus 1. Now, let us go for lower arm. Here we have only two score, 60 to 100 degree movement, then +1, more than 100 degree or below 60 degree, then it is what, +2. So this is an arc of 180 degree, right? It's an arc of 180 degree. So this is the most comfortable zone of work. This is most comfortable zone of work. So anything between that you have +1. If anything between, not in this region, it is +2. Then you have to do the wrist position, +1. If it is 15 degree flexion and extension or more than that, so +1 and +2. So here you get all these values, okay. So you need to see for this particular table, this particular table, right? You have to look for this particular table and you get the score, okay. Once you get this particular value, that is from the table B, we call it score B, you have to go for the coupling factor or coupling score. Why coupling? Now we have seen that while doing any kind of activity, if your holding procedure is not very correct or is difficult, then you have extra musculoskeletal load on the body. So if you are carrying something and the carriage has a good coupling, then you have less difficulties to handle such load. However, the same weight, if the coupling is not good, you find it more difficult or more strenuous than the earlier one. So in this particular tool in REBA, we use coupling, okay. So we have descriptive definition and then accordingly we choose what type of coupling it is. What it says, well fitting handle, very nice handle and mid-range power grip. So you have some mid-range power grip, so we call it as good. Then no extra load, so it's 0. Acceptable but not ideal. Okay, fine, you can use that particular handle, it's acceptable, however it is not ideal to hold or coupling, okay. Then it is okay, coupling acceptable with another body part, then it is fair, so +1. So you have difficulties but it's okay, like you can do it, so then +1. And hand hold not acceptable, however it is possible. Here one thing, if it is not possible, then definitely such posture will not be there in the industry, right? If it is not possible to occupy, then definitely that is not there. So it is very difficult, however it is possible to manage, then it is poor or +2. And no handles, extremely awkward, very unsafe with any body part, then it is unacceptable and we give the scoring of 3, okay, +3. So in this step 12, what we exactly do? So we add all these values. So we have a table from the table B, we have a score and we use the coupling. So we have a total value of score B. Now we have score A and we have score B. What do we do with these scores? We will go for the looking for this particular score in table C. So what it says, that add values from step 10 and 11 to obtain the score B and find column in table C and match with the score A in row from the step 6 to obtain, which you already obtained, and then you get the score C. And this particular value, score C, actually going to give you the action level. Here this is little different than RULA. Once we get the grand score in RULA, we stop. However, in REBA, we have some more addition. What is that addition? The addition is these activity scores. These activity scores. This is not there in RULA. In REBA, these are extra things. Okay, what it says? +1, one or more body parts are held for longer hours than 1 minute. So, you are talking about static posture. So, if you have some score, then again you have to add 1 if the posture is static in nature. Repeated small range action, that is more than 4 per minute. So, more than 4 times you are repeating the job per minute, then it is +1. One more thing, that action causes rapid or large range changes in the posture, or it is unstable in base, then also +1. So, this activity scoring is something gives more dynamic or more realistic understanding about the working posture. So, once you get the score, then you have to go for your final value. Okay. So, you have score C. So, these scores, suppose for this example, okay. So, you get this value. So, score A and table C from, so what you do, from score A you have 3 and score B you have 10. So, final value become 8, and once this is 8 and you find you have an activity score that is 1, then final score became, or REBA score became 9 for this particular example. For your case it can be different. Okay. So, you need to find out that. Now, once you have that particular scoring, what you have to do? You have to look for action level, very similar as we did in REBA. One is negligible. Now, you need not to worry about. Okay, no action required. 2 to 3, low risk, change may be needed. So, that is the score 2 to 3. 4 to 7, medium risk, further investigation and changes required. However, it is soon. Okay. So, you do it. However, there is no emergency. Now, 8 to 10, high risk, investigation and implementation is required, and more than 11 or more than that, it is very high risk and implement the change now or immediately. So, these are the action level you have to derive from your REBA. Fine. So, let us understand what are the advantages. Relation between the score and regional pain can be demonstrated, as I mentioned in RULA. Suppose you have prevalence, point prevalence or weekly prevalence of back pain, you can really see what is the trunk posture available, or what is the kind of trunk posture is being opted or adopted by the operator, and you can really find the relation between it. So, it is very easy, and it gives you real understanding what are the actual risk factor. It gives an indication, it gives the direction. So, outcomes like productivity and suitability of equipment can also be evaluated. Workers can be educated regarding high risk posture. Comparison can be made between the pre and post investigations, intervention stages that I do for both like WASH, RULA, REBA and many other tools where we have some scoring. So, we do pre and post. So, we can see is there any improvement or not, and it's very quick and easy, and similar photographic method that we are using for WAS or ruler we can use for REBA as well. Disadvantages: task duration, recovery time, vibration, these things we cannot consider or cannot get any understanding about these factors in this particular tool. Organizational and psychological factors also not being considered. Capturing the right photograph may be very difficult, which may cause the wrong interpretation of the posture and which may lead you in wrong data collection. Okay, so that's why collecting the correct photograph is very important, and really you need to do it very nicely, effectively. Once you have correct photograph, correct body posture positioning, then only you will get the correct value or good observation. Several REBA assessment may be required for one task. Of course, just for one posture analysis, we will not give the entire picture of the whole task, and have to choose the most extreme posture that I mentioned earlier. Also, very extreme posture only you should take care. Okay. So, what is the approximate time what you require? Very similar as ruler. REBA was developed to require minimum training. New users are suggested to practice using photographs and videotapes of the posture before you use the tool for actual data collection, and 1 to 2 hours is required to familiarize. So very easy. You need a pen and a REBA sheet, because in the scoring system is very important. So you need a REBA sheet with you to give the rating, and camera of course to capture correct photograph. So these are the things is associated with REBA. As I mentioned, very easy tool. So all of you go and start clicking photographs whatever is required for you, and using the REBA data sheet you can analyze the final REBA score, and you can do the intervention if required. Again you check what is the kind of improvement. If improvement happen, then very good. If improvement not happen, then you look for what way you can do the improvement. Okay. So that's all for today for REBA. We will go for QEC, quick exposure checklist, in our next class. Thank you.